Rasty McGibbon with Lou Gamelin, the captain himself. Lou, thanks for coming on 5 Minute Major.
Oh, hey,
and you know,
my pleasure.
in my normal line of work, the one that puts bread on the table at home, when I feel like I'm getting a little over my head, I call a consult. So that's why you're here. Okay, so you're my consultant specialist. Today's kind of an interesting day in that, almost like in Ghostbusters, we're crossing the streams.
Right.
You have the D1 guys that all along have been one and done.
Yeah.
And now with boiling the field of 16 in Men's Division 3 down to 4, the games are going to take on that aspect of single elimination. So kind of, since we only have Men's Division 1, talk us a bit through that, and then kind of give us a teaser on what we have with Men's Division 3.
Well, today is the quarterfinal round in Division 1. The game going on in the opener is Pitt, the Cinderella story this year. Right now, they're the 20th seed. Now, you know that we went to 24 teams this year in Division 1, and their game yesterday against Jamestown is arguably one of the biggest upsets in D1 history, being a 20 seed making it this far. They're playing the 5 seed UNLV right now, and they scored early. They're up 1-0, so they're looking to keep that roll on to try to possibly make it in, to the semifinals tomorrow. The winner of that game is going to take on the winner of Central Oklahoma and Purdue Northwest. Purdue Northwest, Rasty, this is their second year at D1. They barely missed out last year, but this year they've got a very strong team, solid on both ends, and Rasty, they have an incredible stat going into today's game. They are 10 out of 11 on the power play.
Wow.
They were,
and interesting, we had their coach on, we also had their athletic director on, and even the chancellor of the schools here. Yeah. So a tremendous amount of support,
yes.
From back home for them. So it's neat. And, while we're talking about it, do you think that seeing teams like Oswego and seeing teams like Pitt, who would not have been here historically, do you think that validates the expansion? Oh,
100%. We were talking to some other coaches, Mike Petrusma from Calvin and a couple other ones, and there was a little apprehension on expanding it because they were worried that some of the top teams might have an easy go of it. Well, obviously that's not the case. Missouri State was 21. They won their opening round game, and they played pretty good yesterday. UNLV just wore them down in the third period, I believe. Their talent level took over in that one. But for sure, it's validated it, and it's great to see.
Do you think that middle set of teams, so kind of like the 8 through 16, probably would have the biggest objection because now they have to win another game to get their name on this cup? Or do you think that, a lot of the teams that we're seeing here, when I talked to Kirk Handy yesterday, they had not been on the ice in a little over 2 weeks. Some of these teams that, with scheduling, you're looking at 3 or 4 weeks. So do you think that, if you look at rankings, the first game for those 8 to 16, teams numbered 9 through 16, it should on paper be an easier game.
Well, it should be, but your point's well taken. Some of these teams, a little bit of ring rust, if you will, getting back in the swing of it. I know some of the schools after their conference tournaments, like Minot State and Mary, for example, they schedule games in the end of February just to kind of, just keep the game going a little bit. And there's a little aspect of that, but some of those middle schools also, they get a win under their belt. They take that momentum into day 2, and again, Purdue Northwest is a perfect example of that. They played real well against IUP, and they brought that in yesterday and kept it going against a Maryville team that is they fluctuated from 6 to 11 all year, and again, they carried that momentum, and they're obviously looking to do it today against Central Oklahoma. So, yeah.
Then who's the third game on tap for today?
That's going to be Liberty against Adrian. That's those two know each other quite well. They play each other a couple of times, if not more, during the year. I think they
So an interesting thing in talking to Kirk Handy, and I also had 3 of the players from Adrian on yesterday, 2 of which had gone to the World Cup.
Yeah.
If an interesting stat that has really nothing to do with the game today, but
Yeah.
That's kind of the story of my life. Interesting things that have nothing to do with anything. Probably 11 players on the combined teams that went to the World Cup of University Hockey.
Yeah.
So I think it speaks to the talent level on those two teams. But anyway,
Yes.
they played 4 times this year. They split in Lynchburg and they split back at Adrian. So each team is 2-2, and this is really going to be the deciding factor.
Oh, definitely, and they both travel well with their fans. Liberty always brings a very hearty fan base with them. Adrian, they've got that winning pedigree. They're all the time. It seems like they're in the Final 4, Final 8 every year. That to me is going to be the fun matchup of the day. Like you said, both those teams are very close. You know how it is. It's going to come down to a mistake in the neutral zone or whatever, giveaway by the net, and I think it's going to be a dandy.
And with the transition for me broadcasting like you were, 3 years ago and kind of taking on the role I have, one of the things I really miss is getting to watch hockey.
Yeah.
I did get to watch some of the Liberty Mary game, and kudos to Mary. They are a team that has stepped up from Division 2 to Division 1, but they are a force to be reckoned with in this men's Division 1.
Mary, all they've done is win, Rasty. They started out 5 years ago, I think now it's been. The first year in D2, they with the rules, they weren't allowed to participate in the tournament. But they were the #1 ranked team in the country in D2 that year, ineligible for the postseason. Then they went back-to-back national champions, and then last year, what I like to call, they made it to the Final 8, although it was pool play in D2. They lost in overtime to St. Thomas when they had to pull their goalie in order to win the tiebreaker. So, and then you said it, they're in D1. They won a game in the playoffs, and Dan Huntley's team, they're going to be right there every year.
They are. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? It's interesting how the evolution of hockey has been, especially in the the ACHA is what I'm speaking to. Yeah. North Dakota has become a hockey hotbed. Like it is just exploded, and it's not that it's the volume. Mm-hmm. It's the quality.
Right.
You got Minot, you've got Jamestown, you've got Mary, and I mean those three are just going to beat up on each other all year long and make each other better. The old saying, "Iron sharpens iron," right? I mean they're it's some incredible hockey going on in North Dakota.
Boy, every year their coaches tell me, Lou, you got to come out. We'll make it worth your while to come out and watch. Well, I'm like you. We've got day jobs. It's difficult to get out there, but I'm going to make it a point to get out there for a road trip to watch those 3 teams. Then you've got other teams in the D2 level too that are right up there. Dakota College, Abotino, Providence. I mean, it's loaded with great teams out there.
Yeah, one of the things I've heard is it gets so cold. They actually warm up in the rink, but that's another story. Okay, so take us in. Speaking of North Dakota, take us into Game 4.
Well, we got Minot State. They're going to take on Ohio in the nightcap. That's going to be a good one. Those 2 teams are familiar with each other too, both with pedigree. Ohio's been to the mountaintop a few times. Minot, the defending champions. Ohio almost blew their opportunity last night against the 24th seed Oswego State. They had a 3-1 lead going into the third period, and they gave up a couple of goals. The last one, 41 seconds left in regulation time, but then I think, obviously they warmed down a little bit in overtime, got the game winner. So, they're going to be right there. That's going to be a good one for the nightcap, and really look forward to that one.
Interesting thing, and I had an opportunity to talk to the head coach of Oswego. I don't think that we really are able to quantify the downstream benefits that come from a national appearance, okay? From recruiting to scheduling to fan base. All of these things are intangibles, but really, and you can't even put a price on what it's going to do for a school right on the southern shore of Lake Ontario there.
It's amazing. You talk to these coaches that make it to the Nationals and make a good run. They don't have to look for opponents. Opponents will call them. And that's half the battle for some of these teams. You talk about the teams at the top, they're calling all the time to try to squeeze them in for a game. And you're right, and it really helps with recruiting and the school as a whole. You mentioned the smaller ones especially.
Talking about scheduling, give me your take on what you think it does for the league and the ACHA, but also what it does individually for Minot with their involvement with NCAA teams last year.
Well, it's huge. Some of these teams from the outside in the NCAA level, like Denver and Colorado College that played them, they see what it brought to them, and they see the fans that come to watch it, and the exposure is great. And obviously it benefits the ACHA because now they get to show what they're made of. And for these potential recruits that are looking to go somewhere to play after they time out or age out in juniors, and now it helps show them what a value of an education will bring, and they get to play hockey and get that education, which will help them later.
Yeah, I had a really, first time on my show, I actually had one of the Minot players, and I had his dad on, and his dad had been invited to the Minnesota North Stars camp back in the day, was going to play minors for them, but decided it was time to go back to Manitoba and work. But he just spoke to the opportunities that the ACHA provides in terms of education with concurrent hockey, and
right.
He said that it was just an incredible opportunity for his son, and also he spoke to how great it was for his son being at Minot.
Well, I always use the story when I was doing the play-by-play for Aquinas College in Grand Rapids. I ran into two parents, both from Montana, and they said if it weren't for the ACHA, my son wouldn't be a lawyer and doing so well for himself. And the other one was going to go to med school. And that warms your heart when you hear stories like that, because these kids, they're 21 years old after playing juniors. They're looking, what are they going to do? Nothing against factory jobs, but this was an opportunity for them to further their education and do something that they love besides playing hockey. And that's what it's all about, in my opinion, with the ACHA.
So 4 games today. I'm going to see if I can steal Lou and get him on tomorrow, and we can wrap up kind of what happened today and give you a preview into tomorrow. I'm Rasty McGibbon. This is Lou Gamelin at the ACHA 2024 National Championship.